So right after you eat these meals, you have energy. But the energy lasts a very short period of time, and you're hungry much sooner. And then you have to eat again, and then you have to eat again, and then you have to eat again.
It is a lot cheaper to go eat fast food. I mean, definitely, you can buy a hamburger for cheaper than you can buy an apple.
That's very sad, because you're telling me I have to pay more in order to eat healthy, and I can pay less in order to get fat and to make you rich, or for something that I might die off of.
It's unbelievable.
The poorest people in our country are the fattest people. We've done something completely wrong here.
Two-thirds of adult Americans are overweight or obese, and about a quarter of 2 to 5-year-olds and one-third of school-age children, including adolescents, are overweight or obese. Also, statistics show that race, gender, and region can contribute to the chance of obesity. Obesity statistics have doubled since the 70s and continue to grow. Many things contribute to our country's obesity, but let's talk about how it all started.
Our ancestors were hunters and gatherers that ate low-fat meats and grains and stayed very active. So they adapted to times of famine by storing their nutrients as adipose tissues to be used as fuel and allow them to survive. We still share this genetic characteristics with our ancestors. However, it is a disadvantage in today's culture where there are hardly any famines. People don't hunt for food, and the calorie intake has grown with our portion sizes. All of these stored nutrients are going unused, so it builds up until the decision is made to eat less and balance diet with exercise. Sounds easy enough, right? And it is for most other countries besides US. So let's talk about why.
Americans have a concept of bigger is better, which contributes to our food and beverage portion sizes. This is what sets America apart from other countries whose portion sizes are a fourth of ours.
Most of our food begins with what we call a roux. And a roux is a combination of flour and oil. And that's the basis for most of our sauces. And as a result, there's a lot of fat that's in the basic foods that we make, from the soups, the gumbos, to your etouffees.
How important is food to the culture down here?
It's what we live off of. Without, you take the food away and this city would die. It would. It's all about food and drink around here. You know, the certain way we do seafood, you know, the certain way we fry. I mean, like these guys behind us, the way they fry, the way we take whole onions and, you know, we fry all kinds of stuff and make it taste good with the extra spice and throw it the extra kick.
That can't be good for you.
Nah, it can't be, but it sure tastes good.
Have you ever seen anyone eat one of those?
You know, when I was younger, I used to be able to eat one. I couldn't touch a half of one now. It's a big sandwich.
The high-fat, deep-fried food culture here is delicious, but has deadly consequences.
Look at our diabetes and high blood pressure and heart disease. Like, these are major killers.
Wendy O'Neill was born in New Orleans. After Katrina, she says, it's even more difficult to access good food.
It's definitely harder and harder to make food choices. I mean, just with having less time. I do a lot of fast food, and I actually hate fast food. I don't like the way it tastes, but I'll eat it because it's cheap and I can get it on the run.
American consumers expect supersized portions, so restaurants compete for consumers by increasing portion sizes. Portion sizes continue to grow because people get accustomed to them and demand larger food. Another thing that Americans value even more than larger food is a great deal. And they find that at fast food restaurants that serve hamburgers the size of their head for half the price of a normal sized hamburger. What they don't realize is that even though they get a good value on supersized food, they are losing in terms of a long-term health. Some tips to avoiding overeating are: when eating out, order an appetizer instead of an entree. Share an entree or eat half of a meal and bring the rest home. Cut high-calorie foods like cheese and chocolate into small pieces and eat fewer pieces. Instead of ordering a side of French fries, get a salad. For snacks, serve fruits and vegetables instead of sweets.
Poverty in America also contributes to its obesity rates because people have to be able to afford healthy food and a safe place to work out, which explains why the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, showed that Mississippi, the poorest state in America, has the nation's highest obesity rate at 34.9%, and states in the South and Midwest, which in some cases represent the poorest parts of our country, showed the highest incidences of obesity. However, poverty is just one factor. Culture, gender, education, and biology play a role in obesity as well. Statistics show that 36.1% of all women are obese, 32.8% of white women are obese, 56.6% of black women are obese, and 41.4% of Hispanic women are obese, which shows how ethnicity can contribute to obesity. Statistics also show that 33.5% of all males are obese, 32.4% of all white men are obese, 37.1% of black men are obese, and 40.1% of Hispanic men are obese. This shows that obesity is more common in women than men, and more common in blacks and Hispanics than whites. These statistics show that females or those who live in poverty and are black or Hispanic are more likely to become obese, but it does not mean that they definitely will, just that it is more likely.
How would you describe the health of people who live in environments like this?
Where we are right now in DC, which is Southeast Ward 8, is statistically the most obese place in the country. There's something wrong with that being in the nation's capital, something extremely wrong with that. What I find is that when you're eating foods and there are no nutrients in it, you're going to want to eat more because your body is not recognizing the nutrients that you're needing. So you're going to keep on eating. Your body's intelligence says, well, let me keep on eating to try to get some of these nutrients, but you're not getting any of it because you're eating fried foods, you're eating dead foods, you're eating foods that have no life.
Beginning of this year, I saw the issue of obesity as a simple, easy fix that only occurs because Americans were too lazy to care. But throughout the year, I have realized that solving obesity is a very complex issue that has many factors like poverty and even our economy that contributes to it. I also realized that action is being taken by our government, like the Let's Move movement started by the First Lady Michelle Obama. She has had an instrumental role in reforming school lunches, limiting TV watching, and increasing health food at child care centers. And perhaps most important, bring issues of food and nutrients to national security attention. This shows that even with the effects of our legal system, obesity is a fight not easily won.
It's Media Day at the White House, and journalists from around the world are clamoring to see Michelle Obama's kitchen garden. She's decided to make healthy eating and exercise the centerpiece of her role as First Lady.
We have to eliminate food deserts in this country, and we need to do it now.
Some countries have realized obesity is a big problem. In order to control the problem, they have taken action against it. For example, Puerto Rico has created a legislation that will encourage parents to help their children in the case that they are obese. Parents can be charged up to $800. School reports to the health department the names of those individuals who are obese. The health department then creates activity and meal plans for the child. If there are no results in 6 months, the parents are charged $500. If after 6 more months still no results are seen, the parents will be fined up to $800. Though many of the citizens do not agree with the legislation, the senator who approved the bill hopes that it will create a bright future of the generation of kids that are rising.
Some bias that we had at the start of this research is the same bias most other countries have, because to them obesity is easily prevented since they have an understanding of how the smallest things, such as size of a burger, can make a big difference, and they are willing to sacrifice for the health of their country, which is a concept we as a nation are only beginning to understand. From my research, I have concluded that our country must decide between money and health, because portion sizes must decrease, which will impact the food industry greatly, and there needs to be a more free public gyms, and even if taxes must increase to stabilize our economy, it seems to me that taxes that go towards helping public health would be some of the best used taxes ever. Also, in the long run, by decreasing our nation's obesity rates, we increase the number of productive citizens and will allow our great nation to move forward and develop in ways it never could before with the weight of obesity on its shoulders. This graph shows that in the year 2014, the states with higher obesity percentages are usually southern, and that most western states have relatively low obesity percentages, which shows that region and culture has a large impact on the chances of obesity. The next images will show how America's outrageous portion sizes compare to other countries, and how what is considered a normal serving size has grown over the years. Now that you have seen the steady increase in portion sizes in the U.S. over the years, you can use this next graph to see its obvious correlation with obesity. I would like to use the next image to show that there are serious health risks when it comes to obesity. It is not just about looks. You are at risk of cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and many more life-threatening diseases. So please, do not let your environment or genetic makeup limit you from living a healthy and productive life.
America also contributes to its obesity rates because people have to be able to afford healthy food and a place safe to work out.
Some tips to avoiding eating over. Gosh. Cause you gotta hurry up. Start it over. My mom's gonna pick me up.
Just go. Just cut it out.
I can't do it.
In 5, 4.
Stupid. How about I start it?
Guys, come on.
Wait, ready?
It is her.
2/3 of adult Americans are overweight or obese, and about a quarter to awesome bloopers.
I told you it's mine.